need some motherfucking views. 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 I need some motherfucking views. Views. I need some motherfucking views.
Don't we all just want to be internet famous, making videos in our basement, 6 figures ad revenue? It's so cool to be PewDiePie or Ethan Klein. But YouTube is a fickle bitch, there's no guarantees. Next month you might not make shit, no one knows what advertiser friendly now is. So just fuck it and make some cool shit. You can vlog your life, talk about your likes and dislikes. You can clickbait cause it's alright, or anything goes, as long as you know. There's no guarantees cause everybody wants to be the next big thing on your TV. Or you could blow up tomorrow and by next week you might be nobody.
I need some motherfucking views. 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 I need some motherfucking views. Views. I need some motherfucking views.
Attention is what we're all after. Sometimes we look desperate, but sometimes there's laughter. We live in a society where our children think making cool memes is their future profession. Look around, you'll see that the joke's on me. All these millionaire kids, not even 17. Cause you can be a fool and drop out of your school. All you need is those views. Or you can vlog your life, talk about your likes and dislikes. You can clickbait cause it's alright, or anything goes, as long as you know. There's no guarantees cause everybody wants to be the next big thing on your TV. You could blow up tomorrow and by next week you might be nobody.
I need some motherfucking views. 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 I need some motherfucking views.
So give me the, cause I want the, so give me the, cause I want the, so give me the, give me the, give me the motherfucking views. So give me the, cause I want the, so give me the.
What's up, baby? Hello. I know we just met, do we have to take it slow though? I like a little bit of everything. I promise I won't do nothing that you are too embarrassed to admit. You need in your life, I would not think twice to make you feel nice, create paradise. If I spend the night, I'll break you off right. All I need is that green light. So invite me to your crib, hey. Well, I will bring my magic fingertips. Say maybe I could run them up and down the whole length of your body until you bust a nut. Or we could order Uber Eats and hit the back road, and after dinner get them cheeks clapping real good. I'm bringing nothing but the heat if you invite me to your crib. To your crib, yeah. I take your socks off slow. I ball one up and put it inside of my asshole. Cause I'm a sucker for that freak shit. I'm on some real G shit. You get a taste and you will never go back to the way things were when you were so damn insecure. You've always had a freak in you, and you just needed that green light. So invite me to your crib, hey. Well, I will bring my magic fingertips. Say maybe I could run them up and down the whole length of your body until you bust a nut. Or we could order Uber Eats and hit the backwood, and after dinner get them cheeks clapping real good. I'm bringing nothing but the heat if you invite me to your crib. To your crib, yeah. I waited so long to find my other half. Then you let me snow. fingertips. Say I ran those motherfuckers up and down the whole length of your body and made you bust a, bust a, bust a, bust a. Ooh, then we ordered Uber Eats and hit the backwood. And after dinner I got them cheeks clapping real good. You know I'm only bringing heat when you invite me to your crib. To your crib, yeah. So invite me to your crib, hey. Well, I will bring my magic fingertips. Say maybe I could run them up and down the whole length of your body and make you bust a nut. Or we could order Uber Eats and hit the backwood. And after dinner get them cheeks clapping real good. I'm bringing nothing but the heat if you invite me to your crib. Your crib, yeah. You know I'm only bringing heat when you invite me to your crib. To your crib. I'll probably finish on your feet next time I'm over at your crib. At your crib.
Rest in peace, Metaphor Messiah. Man, what a talent we lost way too soon. If you're not familiar with Metaphor Messiah, real talk, check him out. He's on Spotify. He's on YouTube. He was a great asset to this community. Really supported YouTubers, and man, I know when he passed, it really hurt a lot of people. I unfortunately didn't get to know the man as well as I wanted to. And I guess that was my fault. But anyway, so let's just get right into it. I want to introduce you guys to a person by the name of Genevieve Simmons. Now, I became aware of Miss Simmons back some time ago. Another streamer on YouTube, Zyda Gets Real, had a person that she brought on that she interviewed, 50 Shades of Chest Pains. And 50 Shades of Chest Pains is one of these channels, I guess you would call them a T channel, that covers, has made quite a few videos and what have you about Eugenia Cooney. And during that stream, WillyMac, the great one, the leader of the T-Tard community, which I am a proud member of, went in and had some conversations and actually wound up making a video on this person. Well, Miss Simmons, I guess, took exception to that. And anyway, that's when she kind of came up on my radar. Now, Miss Simmons is a YouTube channel, has 828 subscribers. She recently kind of had a back and forth with I see Nerdy John in the chat. Hey, nerd. I had some back and forth with Nerdy John there and Chris the Narc via her community tab on her on her YouTube channel. And some of you might wonder, well, why didn't she just make a video, or why doesn't she have a conversation via Discord, or have a conversation via Twitter for that matter? Well, Miss Genevieve's Twitter account actually got suspended. Now, what it got suspended for, I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know. That all happened prior to me coming on board, or finding out about her, whatever. But nonetheless, we, myself and a few others, Nerdy and Chris the Narc and stuff, found Genevieve. And so I started doing a little researching on Genevieve. And so anyway, let's see here. Make sure I got this stuff here kind of in order. Okay. So Genevieve, because she doesn't have access to things like Twitter and things like that, right? So she makes real big use of her community tab on her YouTube channel. And she is a prolific Reddit user. Now, I myself, even though I am a IT person and I've got years and years, decades, if I'm quite honest, multiple decades of IT experience, Reddit is not something that I have really ever delved into. I tried it one time and was like, nah, not really for me. Now, that's not to say that if you guys like Reddit and you're Reddit users, a more power to you. I whatever. I'm not, poo-pooing on the site or anything like that. It's just not my thing, right? So anyway, when I started looking into Genevieve here a little bit, one of the first things I noticed was she had an extensive I don't know what I'd say, history of posting about our hero Willie. Now, this is one of the oldest ones I could find. This was from 4 months ago. It says WillyMac's shows possible anorexia. And she says she has this tagged as speculation. And she says, disclaimer, I'm not trying to diagnose anyone. This is all alleged. Okay, so we're all on the same page here. All right. So she says, I'm generally starting to believe that the YouTuber WillyMac's show, a male YouTube commentator, made his series about drama surrounding Eugenia Cooney with which in itself has a lot of problematic stuff in it because of topics of EDs. Now, I'm going to tell off on myself here a little bit, right? So EDs, me being kind of an older person here, I thought he was talking about erectile dysfunction. Well, that's not what she was talking about at all. She was talking about eating disorders. So I had to kind of come up to speed on that. So, I guess dummy me or whatever, right? She says specifically anorexia hits home for him, but he doesn't want to open up about it due to the huge stigma against mental health amongst males. So right here, she's alluding to the fact that, or she's starting to, rather, I guess, she's kind of starting to spin her tail here that maybe Willie is anorexic. She goes on to say his physique's pretty thin, and only recently has he been trying to cover up his arms with large jumpers. It may be a reach to say this, but what I've researched, those who suffer from anorexia tend to want to cover up, of course. That's not the case with everyone, but it's a common. And then she has a link here that says, while there's a lot of stuff that he's done that is beyond problematic, if by chance his does in fact have an ED, I feel bad for him still. If he admitted so in his videos, it would have provided more context. Wow. So she's just gonna come right out and say poor old Willie has got an eating disorder, right? So anyway, this is actually a hyperlink. And so I clicked on this hyperlink. It opened. Oh my God, that washes out. Shit, that's so bright. Okay. Um, anyway, so it has on here a Google Drive, and it has uh, some clips from I guess uh, I don't know if these are actually her videos or what. I know this one here, WillyMac's shows a monster featuring tipster's depravity. This one here, I'm not for sure what it is. And then she has notes. So when I clicked on the notes, it said, backstabbing Jesse Smile. Sadly, the tweet he originally made is incredibly hard to find due to his possibly being deleted, but he claimed that he wanted to reach out to Jesse after the drama she had with Gabby, despite already saying things about the situation that happened in 2019. So she has just a whole long list of things here. So anyway, it says here, racism, microaggressions. Racisms and macro. So I think here, if we go like this right here, and we just kind of do this here, boom, it's going to open. Oh yeah, look at me. So this is her example of one of her examples from 2019 of racism and microaggressions. So let's see what this is. D'Angelo says he takes no responsibility for Tom getting doxxed, but for some reason, Tom has to take responsibility for the handful of anti-Semitic comments in his video. Hypocrisy, anyone? Huh. So that's racism and microaggression. Oh, okay. So D'Angelo Wallace, I guess, is a person of color. I see. Okay. So since Willie is pointing out that he takes no response, so this D'Angelo Wallace here takes no responsibility for Tom. I assume he's talking about Turkey Tom being doxxed. But for the same reason, but on the other hand, Tom has to take responsibility for anti-Semitic comments in his video. So that's interesting. Let's see what else she has in here. So if I click here, what is this here? Web archive. Oh, okay, so that's just a web archive of the other one. So here's another example of supposed racism and microaggressions. Let's with the T channels, everybody. It's not just Angelica, it's damn near all of them. And looks like that tweet was deleted. It says after watching the video, she does talk about how it would be fake. But damn, she made a whole video on a fake account pretending to be real, and she replies to it as if it could be real. I don't know what to do with these people. Imagine if Bo Blacks made a whole video about fake accounts. Well, you know what's kind of problematic for me on this deal? Let's see here. Let me pause for a second, acknowledge some people. We got Gold Heart. We got Zero Core. All right, we got some OGs in the house today. Finn the Lackey. Welcome aboard, my dude. Says Wallace is a black creator who tried to cancel Tom for making Jew jokes in a video about advertising. Oh, well. Again, people these days, right? No sense of humor. I don't know the context of that as far as, but I know Tom can be at times be a little bit edgy about things. But come on, people, words are words. I guess those stick and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So anyway, I'm not getting how that's racism, microaggressions. I don't. So I don't get what she's. Here's a problem. Okay, that's just the same thing I just looked at. Yeah, well, she's just. I don't. Anyway, so here's my problem. Okay. My problem is with things like this when they just have links to these, and they make these blanket statements, and there's nothing there, and there's no context, and I don't know the stories. I don't know what, and I do appreciate, Finn enlightening me a little bit there, but again, I don't know. I mean, whatever. But what we're going to find, or at least what I have found by looking at, she talks in a lot of generalities, and she makes these statements, but I, well, let's just get into some more of this, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So then the next thing I came across, and this was from a couple of months ago. This is a Reddit post. This is on the Eugenia Cooney subreddit. Anyway, and in this one here, it says WillyMac's relation to Eugenia and why I believe he's Onion Boy 2.0. I assume that means Onision. Again, assuming. And she goes, I brought this up in the slash anorexic nervosa some times ago, but male anorexia. So now she's diving right back into this whole thing about Willie being anorexic. She goes, Willie started to cover up more often than, okay, so now, she goes, trigger warning, mentions of abuse, incest, rape, rape apologism, CP, and Onion Boy. So now we're not saying allegation, or we're not saying alleged, we're not saying speculation, we're not saying anything. We're just coming right out and saying now Willie is without a doubt suffering from anorexia. So I'm not for sure if this is a deal where, I don't know. Chat, you tell me, is this not starting to come across a little bit like, what's the word I'm looking for? Stalker, or what's the other word I'm looking for? Hyper focused, or just fixated, right? I mean, is she's starting to see, it seems like to me she's really fixated. And I think this all stemmed from the fact that Willie initially made, I think it was like a 3-part expose where he was really taking to task some of these quote T-branded channels and their hot takes on Eugenia. And in my personal opinion, he came with a lot of facts, and he had a lot of stuff to back up what he said. I remember he even had a interview with one of the persons in questions that stayed with Eugenia for a period of time. Had that interview in one of his videos. And that's one of the things that I think is missing here, right? She has thoughts and she has opinions, and that's fine. I'm not trying to be a thought police or opinion police here. But the problem is she doesn't bring anything that substantiates any of these thoughts and opinions. It's pure speculative, but she states them as factual. Case in point, she goes, I brought this up in this subreddit some time ago, but male anorexia rarely gets any representation. And it's generally bizarre because anorexia is something that affects everyone, not just females. Yes, it mostly affects that group of people, but like every other mental illness, it doesn't discriminate. WillyMac's started to cover up more often than ever since he talked about the Eugenia Cooney situation, and that alone is something that I find very telling. Well, I'm not saying this is a definitive statement, and in no way am I intending to body shame anyone. As someone who's known about him for a few years now, once I began to notice something, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Ooh, so she can't stop thinking about him. I generally believe he's someone who might have a similar issues to Eugenia, albeit not as severe, and relates to her, but he just don't want to talk about it. While I understand not wanting to talk about certain topics due to how sensitive they are, I also find him not opening up about his own issues to be a huge missed opportunity, as his story could very easily help young males who are also suffering with anorexia. So she says, while this is not a definitive statement, she says, and she doesn't want to do body shaming, she goes on to say, while I understand not wanting to talk about certain topics due to how sensitive they are, I also find him not opening about his own issues. So which one is it, Genevieve? Does he not, or does he? Because you say you don't want to say it's definitive, but then in the same paragraph, you go on to say that because he won't open up about his conditions, he's missing a golden opportunity. So I'm kind of confused. Uh, uh, Fixation is a good word for it. Yeah, it's 100% unhinged. Exactly, Finn. I agree, zero at fixation. Yeah. So Willie's investigating something. No, Gold. I don't know if he's investigating. I doubt seriously if he's going to mess with Genevieve here. And I mean, it's obvious she's. How do I put this and it not come across as politically incorrect? Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Um, she's just, yeah, I think she's a little bit. I think she's a little bit touched in the head, as we say here in the South. But I also think that a lot of this stuff that she does is that she does this because she seeks attention. She wants people to make videos on her. We're going to get into that aspect of this whole storyline as well, because she desperately seeks to have acknowledgement. She wants uh, she wants people to take notice of her, but yet when they do take notice of her, and if they're critical and they do not agree with her 100%, in their takes, she gets very defensive, and she becomes very combative. So anyway, let's continue on here. That's some more stuff. Okay, so coming on down in through this, I'm not going to get into all this because she's got more links to more crap. She goes, speaking of hypocrisy, WillyMac's logic for why he wanted to call himself this is all part of this next big segment here. So just kind of let you guys know where I'm at here. It says, speaking of hypocrisy, WillyMac's logic for why he wanted to call himself T simply because he was covering Gabby Hanna and Eugenia Cooney is completely illogical. Firstly, if he were to use his logic, a lot of commentary channels would be considered T. Keemstar would be considered T. Secondly, the way he was speaking about it on Twitter was clearly meant to be a parody of the T community, but like Onision, he doesn't know how to properly execute a joke and painfully unfunny. Finally, he covered the Taddy James situation back in 2019. Why didn't he call himself T back then? Well, honey, the reason why he didn't call himself back then, and I think is right here. You answered your own question, right? Well, when your own statement says, secondly, the way he was speaking about on parody was clearly meant to be a parody of the T community. That's why it is 100% a parody. You're right. So you answering your own joke, your own questions, right? You say he just doesn't know how to execute a joke or painfully unfunny. Well, that's your opinion, and humor is subjective, so I won't argue with that. I found it funny, so to me it was fine. Says finally he covered the Taddy James back to why did he call? Okay, yeah. All right. So again, it's clear what was it's clear what he did was meant to be a joke, but he can't execute a joke to save his life. Again, subjective. On top of that, his logic makes absolutely no sense. You know how Onision used to claim to be all about sorts of things, to talk about things that were popular with certain demographics solely for the sake of, so kind of like what you do, right? Or what I do, or what crap any YouTuber really out there does. They talk about things, especially if you're smaller YouTubers, you're going to talk about things that you feel like will get into the algorithm, that you feel like is on the on the trend, and you want to get in there so the algorithm will pick you up, right? Now, if you're a larger YouTuber, such as say, I don't know, PewDiePie or Mr. Beast or some of those that level, right? The stuff that you do is what kind of will set the trend, right? They will set the, and so people will talk about it, right? So they're the trend makers, and then you have the people who are the trend talkers. I'm a trend talker, right? Uh, Other people, like Tommy C. They talk about current events, trending things that are going on YouTube. Tipster is to name another one. Kristen Ark, someone else that you have no love lost for. Nerdy John, people like that. Dead on Dave. We all talk about things that are out there that we find or that we speculate is going to be something that is going to be popular that people will want to come and talk about. So anyway, let's see what here. What is okay. So she wants attention from Willie. Not necessarily gold. I think this is a deal where she just wants attention, period. Would she like to get the attention of Willie? Without a doubt, she would love to get the attention of Willie. And you're going to see here in a minute, there's other people that she wants attention of that are really big YouTubers too, right? So it's not just about getting the attention of Willie. It's about getting the attention of just large YouTubers, right? Because I think in her logic, the way that she thinks that by doing and making some of these really crazy accusations that she's making, she thinks that she will get them to engage with her, and in her mind, that engagement equals clout, and thinks that will, and by responding to her, uh, will in some way, and I guess justify to her that what she's saying is true, because otherwise, why would they respond if it wasn't, So it's kind of one of those things. And again, that's all speculation on my part as well, right? Um, so here's what she says to me, and this I'm kind of jumping down a few here, but it says to me, WillyMac's someone who, at least in my opinion, shows similar traits to Onion Boy. He's narcissistic and abusive. So now Willie is not. Now is he not just anorexic, but he's narcissistic and he's abusive. Even though she states it has no evidence of him being anorexic. She has no evidence. She gives no references for him being abusive. So I'm kind of torn on how she can make these statements, because me myself personally, I would never claim anybody to have any type of mental disorder. Um, I would never claim for anyone to be abusive or anything else unless I have some sort of evidence that backs up my statements, right? So earlier when I said I think she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, well, some of these things, some of these statements, like her saying he's anorexic, her saying that he's abusive, right? That okay, his insane obsession with being a contrarian, always wanting to have the unpopular opinion that has been proven to be especially dangerous with how he talks about serious issues. How's it dangerous? Because he exposed a bunch of people for putting out speculations. One of the examples that he used, and correct me if I'm wrong here, chat, but one of the examples that he used, the person made a video on Eugenia and her family based upon tarot card readings. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just mess over, or what was it, what's the shit on somebody because they subscribe to tarot card readings or whatever. But to me, if you're going to use tarot card readings to apply to try to justify certain beliefs or stances, right, about a person or their family, would be the equivalency of me going and getting a Bible and reading chapters and verses that I could randomly apply to people and say, well, this is why they're this, and this is why they're that, and this is why. It's the same thing, right? You're taking things and just ad nausea throwing them out there, saying, oh, this is this, and this is that, and this is your interpretation of it. Neither one of them holds any weight. Neither one of them holds any water, right? It's the same type thing, right? All right. So I don't know how that's dangerous, other than exposing the fact that it was kind of dangerous of them using tarot cards trying to explain and say this and that about the family and Eugenia. I think that's pretty bad. Let's see what else there he says. Uh, oh, here's a good contempt and hatred for his own audience, e.g., claiming to call people out for situations and force them to publicly apologize for the sake of fueling his self-serving ego, but then goes on into a narcissistic rage whenever he gets questioned and called out by people in his audience. Again, she's making statements and has zero evidence to back it up. There's zero. She doesn't. She's not citing any type of screenshots from Twitter. She's not showing any type of clips from YouTube. There's nothing. She's just word vomiting here, right? She's just throwing stuff up against the wall, seeing what will stick. But let's go on. The way he talks about minors, consent, e.g., saying 15-year-olds are able to consent with young adults. Of course, that's not verbatim, but it's along those lines. And predators, e.g., excusing the behavior of Mr. Girl, aka the self-admitted predator, who's most famous for defending cuties. I gotta get a drink after that one. Hang on here. So. Yeah, Goatheart. Tarot card reading. If you haven't gone back and watched WillyMac's, I think it's like I say, it's like a 3-part series, and you have to watch all of them. You'll see he exposes that whole community. He absolutely 100% exposes that entire community with their blatant just speculation. And what was worse is in some instances, right? They were actually citing each other as sources. And the other persons that they were citing as sources was pure speculation, because they would say, well, this is how I feel, or this is what I believe, but yet they had nothing. They had absolutely, positively nothing to back up what they were saying. The way he talks about minors. Well, we're going to get into that, what she thinks is bad about minors. Actually trying to cover up stuff, e.g., example, trying to silence someone who is trying to bring to light a situation about someone confessing to exchange child pornography with another person in an attempt to gather more evidence. Oh, for God's sakes. Listen, enough. So let's get into one of her videos here. Now, I've got to mute the audio on this because she uses copyrighted music. And I'm trying to do my best not to get claimed on these things, because eventually one of these days, if I might happenstance get monetized, which I don't think will ever happen, I might get a couple of pennies out of this thing or something in my old age, so maybe I can replace the pads or something in my dentures if I have to get them. So anyway, let's get into this here. Okay, so this here is a video that she put up. Now, we're not going to watch the full 2 minutes 46 seconds, because it's bad. It's really, really bad. And like I say, I can't even play the audio, because the only audio there is a soundtrack playing behind it, which is a copyrighted song. I think the name of the song is "I Like Little Kids" by Ongo Bongo. But anyway, so the opening here on the video, you can see here it's just a screenshot of WillyMac's tweet, and it says, "Everyone mad at Pyro for the age thing is dumb as hell. There's literally 3 year and 2 or 3 months age difference between Ivory and Pyro. Like, are we going to call a 19-year-old a pedo if Ivory was 15 or for 2 more months? Bro, if it's 6 months, who the fuck really cares? Happens everywhere." Now, that's all she shows, right? Well, here's the problem with that, okay? So if we actually go over here, see, where is it at? Okay, this is the original tweet, Okay. Bring this. Okay. Stop. Okay. So here's the original tweet. Okay. That was just showed in her video. Right. And if you go on over here and you continue with, because again, you're limited to the amount of characters that you can have in a tweet, right? So you have to continue with it, right? What he was talking about here is the Ivory situation, right? Because he says here happens everywhere. The big deal was that he wrote off Ivory and called him a clout chaser. Ivory was a good kid and didn't deserve to have his problems dismissed like that. That's why Turkey Tom's video was so important. He got answers and he got apology for Ivory. All right, so let me break this down for you, just kind of a little TLDR. Ivory was a young man who was engaged in consensual, I guess you'd call it, I don't know what it was, like fat, furry. Ivory would draw these fat, furry characters. I don't know. It's getting, I don't know. I don't understand all that stuff. I just know that he was drawing these like very obese, fat, furry, icon pictures or whatever, that type of thing. And, Ivory was, I think, like almost 16 at the time, and Pyro was 19. Now, before people get all okay, Pyro lives in the UK. Pyro in the UK, the age of consent is like 15 or 16. Okay, so this was not now. While here in the States, 19 and a 16-year-old. It's a little bit, it's like it's icky, right? But it's not necessarily, and every state has its own laws and stuff as far as the amount of age gap that it can be, right? But in this situation, there was nothing as far as, anyway, it was all explained. If you want to know a better definition, you want to know all the go check out Turkey Tom's video on it. He does a far better job, and I'm not going to get into all that. But Turkey Tom explains all this, and the reason why this is important is because she takes things out of context to suit her needs. Okay, so let's go back over here to her video. Crap, wrong. Which button? There's the button. Okay. So we'll go. I'm gonna just slide over here a little bit more. Okay. So here she has a screenshot, and this is a conversation between Aiden and WillyMac. And she says, for context, a YouTuber named Pie Man confessed that they and another person named Lucy were engaging in degeneracy. Regardless of the excuses or wanting to gather enough evidence to take Lucy down, they'd also be taken down with him due to them being no better than him. Aiden was only trying to bring this to light, but for some reason, people like WillyMac were against how he was doing it. Okay? So let's look at this. Pie Man, don't believe everything you see. People are spreading a lot of misinformation, especially Aiden. I will be back eventually to explain the situation. People are getting dead wrong, and I reflect from some other stuff. And Aiden says, what misinformation? Aiden, this is what Willie says. Aiden, I'm concerned with how much you seem to be obsessing over this. And Aiden replies saying, shouldn't you be more concerned by Pie Man asking for a video of a 10-year-old being raped? He says, bro, I'm concerned in it about 95 different ways, but I fail to see how you are helping anyone or anything. Aiden says, I was literally the first one to call him out on the situation. I helped by bringing attention to it. Don't you literally call out shitty behavior for a living? Why do I need to prove some righteousness and helpful reasons behind criticizing someone? And Willie says, you're right, Aiden. You're a hero. You're handling this with 100% care. And he says, nice strawman, buddy. Okay. So I can't speak for Willie, and I'm not going to speak for Aiden in this situation or anything else like that. But what I will say is my own personal stance is this. If you suspect that somebody is engaged in this type of behavior or conduct, what have you, right? Then what I would recommend to you is that you go to your local law enforcement, take the screenshots, take the information, whatever, let them do it. They're the professionals. They're not armchair quarterbacks out here trying to play truth sleuth and try to be some sort of pedo hunter. Okay, it's just I don't understand why is that so hard to grasp, right? But this is some of the examples that she gives to show how I guess he's I don't know, degenerate or whatever. So here we go. So here and then so then she shows a tweet. He goes, I'll be honest, Willie says, I don't give a fuck if anyone talks to Mr. Girl. Literally, we welcome back zero. Okay. Well, I think Willie's, he said, hey, if we're going to welcome back zero, talk to Mr. Girl too, right? He's not championing Mr. Girl. He's not saying that Mr. Girl's a good person. He's just saying, hey, if you're going to welcome back zero, go ahead and talk to this cat too. Because in his mind, they're both the same. So let's scoot on over a little bit more. She goes, this is the type of person the commentary community wants to lift up. Yet again, we shouldn't be surprised. They've been on a depraved downward spiral for years. Okay. And she goes on to say, this is the type of person Gabby Hanna and Eugenia Cunha, as well as her family, who are so obviously abusive and negligent, want to have on their sides, despite the fact that it makes them look even worse than they already do. It's especially disturbing now he's willing to blatantly lie about Eugenia's family's actions, despite footage, chips on content, and Eugenia's Draw My Life video. Still, it wouldn't surprise me if he himself came from an abusive and neglective negligent household, and like Eugenia, sees it as normal, sad. Obviously, still not an excuse. It's also no surprise that he looked over at Gabby and her fans and what Gabby and her fans did to Jen Dent, because he himself slandered D'Angelo Wallace back in 2019. And we looked at that tweet that she was talking about, and so here again, D'Angelo says he takes no responsibility for Tom. How is this slander? How in the hell is there slander? I don't understand this, guys. Somebody needs to give me a decoder ring or some shit. So I don't know. Anyway, so then she goes on here to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he subscribed to Gabby and Eugenia. I mean, it explained why he has similar traits to them. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Eugenia is secretly his thinspo. There's a reason why he started to cover up his arms more. Remember, it's not just females that are affected by her content. So again, here she is reiterating her beliefs that WillyMac is anorexic. This is a type of person Keemstar wants to promote, even though he went after people like Pyrocynical. Yet again, we're talking about a guy who has abused the mother of his kid. So now she's saying, I guess Keemstar has abused his ex-girlfriend at this time, or wife, or I'm not sure what that relationship was, but his ex, we'll just live with that, has been accused of degeneracy himself, has ruined multiple people's lives, and is a hypocritical, vindictive narcissist. Also, look at how he covered Onision, Daddy 05, Just Destiny, Total Biscuit, and so on. Speaking of the last one, it's also clear he wants to exploit Eugenia's inevitable death to save his dying career, hence why he backstabbed Jacqueline Glenn and took back what he said in 2019 and 2020, which is absolutely deplorable. Let's see here. Okay. Don't believe me about the abuse and degeneracy stuff? Here's the proof. And then she has from an old recording of Xbox Live where, let's see here. Let's see if we can listen to this. See if the music's quit playing.
Fucking question. Answer my fucking question. Answer my question, Sam. Answer my fucking question.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Answer my question.
You're such a fucking asshole.
Answer my question. Answer my question!
Okay, so that's an old clip from, and I don't know the context of that, but whatever. Jesus. So then she brings up the story about Kate, who was supposedly, uh, they try to pin this on Keemstar, saying she got naked for him or whatever. So that makes him a degenerate, I guess. I don't know. Says, in short, fuck the commentary community, fuck Keemstar, fuck Gabby Hanna, and fuck Eugenia Cooney. Well, let's see what else. Oh, she got some more. Apologize to Jesse Smiles. Apologize to Tojan Dent. Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Okay. So that's her first video, right? Well, let's get into some more of her stuff here. What else? Okay, so she has this video, this YouTube video on her YouTube page. So let's get into that a little bit, and let's listen to this one. We can actually listen to, because this one doesn't have that framing's all screwed up. I think it's because it's short, but whatever. Is that Keemstar? It was supposed to be Keemstar Gold. I'm not for sure. I mean, I seem to remember that going around back years ago, even back like 2000. I think they want to say that surfaced around 2015 or 16. I think it came out back when Grade A Under A and Leafy and those guys were going after Keemstar. That was supposedly a recorded Xbox 360. What they call them, I don't know, chat room or whatever. I don't know what those things were called back then. I didn't ever do it. I didn't play console games and stuff like that, so I don't know. But anyway, was that really Keemstar? I don't know. The screen name said DJ Keemstar, so take it. You use your best judgment on that. I don't know. So anyway, let's listen to what Genevieve has to say to Willie here on this one. This one here is a banger, folks.
Hey, WillyMac's show. Why haven't you bothered to talk about people like Stephen Shepard? You know, someone who's actually stalking Eugenia Cooney and poses a genuine threat. Why haven't you...
Maybe he doesn't know about that person. It's possible.
Admitted to having anorexia yourself?
Oh.
Why haven't you admitted to using Eugenia as thinspo?
Oh.
Why aren't you coming clean about the racist and pedophilic shit that you said?
Really?
Hell, why haven't you said anything? Why haven't you addressed anything about the disturbing shit that you said?
Yeah. Yeah, Willie.
Is it because you're too much of a chicken shit?
Yeah. Willie's a chicken shit. That's what it is.
Hey, WillyMac's show.
So remember, everybody, okay, when we first started down this rabbit hole, that is Genevieve. Okay, just remember this, right? She didn't want, it was purely speculative. She didn't want to body shame anybody. She didn't want to, and then how now she just flat out blatantly says, he's anorexic. He says pedophilic statements. I guess, I don't know. I guess you guys use your own judgment on that, but it almost sounds like she's trying to say that WillyMac is potentially a pedophile. I don't know. But anyway, like I say, she just keeps spiraling, getting worse and worse. So let's take a look, because you remember how I said she lost access to her Twitter, or Twitter was suspended. So she's been using her community tab as a I guess basically like her Twitter, for the lack of a better word. So I'm not for sure exactly which one's going to show this the best. Okay, this looks like it's okay. All right. So this is on our community tab, and it says, since WillyMac's show wants to open his fucking mouth again, I want to remind everyone who exactly we're dealing with here. This degenerate needs to be reported. If you can, please flag his videos. He's just like Onision, a child groomer in the making. Okay? Now, and then she links to the video that we just kind of went through, right? So she is using her community tab to outright call for her subscribers to mass flag his videos. Now, I'm not the most, like, what do you would call it, knowledgeable maybe, or I'm not like a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that this right here is against terms of service here on YouTube. I may be wrong, and if I am, I apologize now, but I don't think I am. I think that is a blatant break, a violation of the terms of service. So let's take a look at this next one. Oh, well, this one isn't necessarily about Willie. I'm involved. Hang on here. It's so funny how Nerdy John planned to drag my name through the mud with the help of his equally pathetic friend like Chris the Narc and Riveter. Hey, that's me. Hey, a middle-aged, borderline obese creep. A borderline obese creep who should have absolutely no business in stuff like this. Backfired so much. My channel's still growing. All you're doing is making yourselves look terrible by being the bigger YouTubers who are bullying a smaller one for no reason. You all need to grow the fuck up. And I said, I would have been nice if you would have tagged me and I didn't have to find out secondhand. Secondly, I'm not middle-aged. I'm well past middle-aged. Please explain why I have no business discussing this. Why are you gatekeeping? See, I can't stand a gatekeeper. It's one of my little it's pet peeves, I guess. I just don't like it. Also, what is with the body shaming? Not very nice there, young lady. I'll be more mature here, kiddo, and just give you some solid advice. You need to go out and hang out with some friends. I know you're in a tough spot having the two separate GoFunds. Yeah, she has some GoFundMes and spreading your Cash App everywhere. I'll tell you what, if you'll put down your cell phone because you destroyed your laptop, and if you will find any IRL friends that will still talk to you, go out to dinner. I'll send you a couple of dollars to help with the cost. Deal? Just let me know which of the two GoFundMes or the Cash App you would prefer. Oh, and unlike Nerdy, I have no desire at this point to speak to you. You're the typical brain-dead YouTuber I have seen a million times, and my suspicion is you don't have the ability to have an honest and productive conversation. Know this, though, lolcow. I'm going to milk you for all your horrid takes, trashy videos. Thank you for giving me tons of content for the next couple of videos. And listen, Genevieve, if you are watching this or catch this later on, that offer still stands, darling. If you can find some real life friends, I will send you a couple of good old US dollars to cover or help cover your meal if you go out and just step away from the Reddit and step away from your little community tab for a little while and just kind of get out and breathe some fresh air and have some just non-conversations about any online stuff, because I really think you need to do that for your own well-being. Now, John, he's still willing to have a conversation with him, and that's fine. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. And then much to my demise, because she didn't take my advice, she did this a day ago. Let's see how many people all these blue, these are all tags. Let's see how many people she tagged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. She tagged 21 different content creators. 21 different content creators. Now, Miss Goldheart, you asked me earlier, is she really trying to get WillyMac's attention? And the answer is yes, darling. She is trying to get Willie's attention. She's also trying to get Cabos. She's trying to get Ivy Rasmus. She's trying to get Paige Christie. She's trying to get Drama Alert, The Gabby Show. She's trying to get Eugenia Cooney, The Gabby Show being, of course, Gabby Hanna. She's trying to, and so because once was enough, she tagged Gabby Show twice. She's trying to get Jesse Smiles. She's trying to get Alex James, Joy Grasfa, Mr. Preda. She's trying to get The Viewer's Voice. She's trying to get Dustin Dailies. Drew is sharing. Veterai. Again, a Eugenia Cooney again. Hell, she's even reaching out to old Uncle Tommy C there. Craig Beckett, Creepshow Art, and Onision. That is just a brief little rundown of how many people she was trying to tag in this. Now, I'm not going to sit here and murder your ears with trying to read this drivel. But I think in conclusion, right? I think in conclusion, this more than shows that, contrary to my initial first beliefs when I first started researching this young lady, I first thought this was a young lady who was hurting, and that she was seeking attention because of that hurt. And I think it's become painfully clear to me now that she is just a little clout goblin that is out here making some of the most heinous, unprovable statements. She's claiming Willie Mac is anorexic. She's claiming that he grew up in a house where he was abused. She's claiming that that he is racist. She's claiming that he is pedophilic. I mean, you name it. She flat out has labeled through everything at Willie Mac that you could throw, right? And she's thrown every bit at it, and none of it is provable. None of it. She has nothing to back up her statements. The things that she does use are taken out of context. They're taken out of it. She's just a typical small time YouTuber, T-tuber, for that to be more specific, that is just trying to gain the attention, gain some notoriety to try to get people to grow her channel and to support her. And the sad thing of it is her channel is still gaining subs. There are people who, for whatever reason, like to listen to these speculations and like to listen into these types of this hyperbole crap. That hyperbole is not even the right word, because hyperbole means for fun or whatever. This slander is what it is. It's absolute slander is what she's doing. Now, I've poked some fun and I've had a little fun at her expense, but I do want to kind of end on a little bit of a serious note here today, because it can't all be fun and games all the time, right? Genevieve, listen to me, and I'm saying this with all sincerity. You need to unplug. you need to step away for a little while. You do 100% need to go and hang out with some real life friends. If you don't have some, darling, you need to go make some. Go down to your local pub, have a drink or two with some of the people in there, get to know them, talk about real world stuff. Don't talk about online stuff, okay? Just don't do it. And you need to stop making these type of accusations, because the bottom line is you're going to make these type of statements and these accusations like you did towards Willie, that is unsubstantiated, that could end you into some real serious legal trouble, okay? Because what you're saying is slander, is defamation. And I don't know what, if any, resources you have as far as homes or automobiles or money, or I don't know what, but you could lose everything because of this, right? So just a little friendly advice, okay? Just stop it. Just please just stop it. So anyway, that pretty much wraps it up. I'm hoping Genevieve can kind of maybe pull it out and make some content that is not in this line of stuff, and she can go on and do her thing on the internet and have fun with it. And I hope she gets support from her fans and stuff. I wish her nothing but the best, but she's got to stop this mess, because it's going to end up being not good for her in the long run. And with that, I'm going to wind it up. Thank you for everybody that showed up. Seen Chris popped in. Thanks, Chris. Zero, Soru, Goat Heart, Nerdy. I can't remember who else. I know I'm missing somebody. There were several others there. Listen, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all the recent growth that I've had here. Just I just hit 100 subs after 16 years. That did this old man's heart some good. I was really proud of that. When that happened, I actually went bragging to my wife and my children and stuff. I was like excited about it. So I know to a lot of people that's probably not a lot, but to me it was, and I'm very appreciative of that. So anyway, I want to thank you, and I'm gonna get out of here. And you guys have a great weekend. Don't spend it online all weekend. Go out to dinner with some family and friends. Have some fun. Have a beer if you drink, or a cocktail or whatever. But just have some fun too. Don't spend it all online, right? There's a big bad world out there just waiting to be explored. And I'll see you guys later.
Morning dew, when you post your lewds and my heart jumps over the moon. You liked my tweet when I said you were thick with 2 C's. That's when I knew that I'd found the girl for